When you share through this mission campaign and you become part of what Hand of Hope is doing, you are helping through medical care, feeding programs, reaching America's inner cities, and going into places that you never could help by yourself, tackling big issues like human trafficking. Here in Thessaloniki, Greece, there's a brothel right behind me. There are girls trapped in human trafficking, but we are seeing lives transformed and changed as we're working together to share the love of Christ. Thank you for sharing.
What does answer this issue is a relationship with Jesus. And the more we can introduce people to a life-giving relationship with Jesus, the more their hearts will be transformed, they'll start to make right choices, and they'll stop doing those things that lead to this kind of injustice that we're fighting.
And they'll care about that person that they see on the other side of the screen or magazine.
Absolutely. They'll see them as a person, not just a digital image,
right,
or a disc. Because somehow, oftentimes, if we go online or buy a magazine, we get disconnected from the reality of what's happening on the other side. Those people represent people. They're someone's daughter, they're someone's sister, they could be someone's mother. And I think we ought to say, you know what, it's not okay. And I can't do everything. Not everyone is going to be coming over here and taking on the Russian and Albanian mafia. And none of us could do everything, but all of us can do something. And I think we start with looking at our own lives and perhaps asking ourselves, what am I looking at? What am I reading? What am I thinking about? What am I watching on TV? And what can I do? What could I switch off, stop reading, stop logging onto, that might begin to make a change? Now, when you work like I do with the actual victims of human trafficking, there's no disconnection. And I think that was probably the biggest thing that awakened me more than anything. Even as a Christian evangelist traveling the world, you know, I still don't think until I really met my first victim. When you meet one, it changes everything, because it changes everything. Suddenly, no, I can't even look at a magazine as in a cover. You know, you walk sometimes into the service stations and they're half covered. It's no more just this kind of image of this fake person. It's a real person. And when you hear the real story of what they were forced to do so that somebody else on the other side of the world could look at that image, or someone else could click onto a pornographic website, when I have heard with my own ears what these girls were subjected to for that to happen, it just changes everything.
This is such a beautiful place. Greece is a beautiful country. But during our time here, we have had to look into some very ugly, disturbing places. And you know, it's difficult to see what God could bring out of a situation like this. But that's the wonderful thing about our God, is that He can take the ugliness of sin and He can bring a beauty out of those ashes. That's what is happening in the young girls' lives that we have met today. And if you're anything like me, if you have daughters or granddaughters, I'm sure that your hearts have been broken. But what enables us to continue in this work is knowing that there is an answer, and it's in Jesus Christ. Together, we are making a difference. Right here in Eastern Europe, in Africa, in Asia, even in the United States, young girls' lives are potentially being destroyed. But together, we are helping them come out of that and into the beauty that God wanted for their lives to begin with.